Holy cow! Welcome to Donnie's Hangout Adventures. And yes, you are, babe. It's a nice way to start a video. Especially this morning. Here we are in, it's Tuesday? I think so. I'm pretty sure it is. Well, you know, I've been thinking. Good, I've been thinking. I don't know how the homeless do it. They do this every day. I don't see how they do it. Because I have a sunburn that is the nastiest sunburn in the history of sunburns. My whole body is sore. Arms, legs, back, even parts of my neck because of being sunburned. I don't know how they do it. But I'll tell you this, it's going to sound like a funny sentence to be saying. I have a little bit more respect and compassion for the homeless. No matter what their situation is. Because to do this every day, to get up every day, it's not the easiest thing to do. And I hope this is coming to an end. I hope that sooner rather than later, I won't have to be doing this much longer. Because there's some plans in the works that I won't have to be doing this much longer. I can't say what those plans are. Me and my wife, we like to keep the stuff as much as a secret as possible. But this is starting to wear me out mentally and physically. And I don't like it. The shelter I'm at are not the nicest people. The people in there, I've met some nice people in there. But as for the workers, they're not some of the nicest people. And someday I'm going to tell you my experiences in that shelter. Well, not right now. Not right now, but I will tell you my experiences and how it was and everything else. But just right now, I'm just trying to survive, take it one day at a time and 1 meal at a time, and just trying to stay positive as of right now. You know what? It's not easy. Sitting beside random empty lemonade, wasn't mine. That's Mother Pearl. Who's that? I don't know. I don't have a clue what the resemblance is, why it's sitting out here. And then you have this. This makes sense. Catcher and a batter. And why does this make sense? Because we're at Principal Park, the AAA affiliate of, well, the Chicago Cubs. These are the Iowa Cubs. This is where you're on the doorstep. The doorstep. Once you hit AAA, you have a really good chance of being called up to the Major League Baseball team of the Chicago Cubs if you play well enough and impress the managers and the scouts and all that. If you play well enough, you could be well on your way to the Major League Baseball team of the Chicago Cubs. For many years, it was pretty funny to me. The Iowa Cubs actually did better than the Major League Baseball team of the Cubs. And it was always a little funny to me that the Cubs would be out and running in contention while the Iowa Cubs were still in contention in the AAA affiliate league. That was always a little funny to me, and it's a bigger stadium than what it looks like on TV. That's the way all these stadiums actually look. But it's a pretty good sized stadium, of course, and it's actually really close to downtown. I never realized it. Look how close it is. Yeah, that's pretty close to downtown. You never know what I'm going to film, do you? You never know. I was looking at the ticket prices. I thought they'd be more expensive. If I actually had money and some free time, actually I have a lot of free time. I'm saying if I had more money, I would maybe attend a baseball game. I'm that bored. But the prices really aren't that bad. They're really not. They're not really that bad. I thought they'd be more expensive. It's where you buy the tickets to go watch the Iowa Cubs. But if I was actually bored and had extra money, I probably would attend an Iowa Cubs baseball game. That's sad. Who knew that where the Iowa Cubs played baseball and tore right close to the entrance and probably the exit, there actually set some history lessons? Who knew? Site of Old Fort Des Moines. It was for the early settlers of Des Moines. So basically, some of the first settlers of Des Moines were staying right here where the Iowa Cubs played baseball. Now that is sort of neat and sort of randomness, but some of the first settlers that settled in what is now known as Des Moines were in on this site and this place. That's sort of some cool piece of history. A lot of people ain't going to notice that little history lesson there. I wasn't sure what the history lesson would have been when I was reading it. I was trying to read it because the writing on it is a little hard to read at times, but nonetheless, be that as it may. And then towards the entrance and exit, I guess officially it is both, they have this, the birthplace of Des Moines, Florida, right there. Isn't that pretty cool? Right here where the Iowa Cubs play baseball, and over yonder you see an old water tower, really old. They probably gave water to the early residents of the first people that stayed here and what would become known as Des Moines. So that's pretty cool. And not far from the baseball stadium, the Iowa Cubs baseball stadium, sits a bar, about a block, called High Life Lounge. You can sit outside here, and I like this ivy. That looks like what you would see if you actually saw Wrigley Field in actual person, because they have ivy on the outside wall. So I absolutely love the ivy that creates, I don't know, realism. That's pretty cool, you know, to see that. They're delivering beer to the bar, probably for a game later this week, today. Who knows? And then behind here, looks pretty cool. Yep, that looks really cool. I forgot they had a bar here. I did go by it a couple times when I lived here in 2021. I almost forgot there was a bar right here downtown, right by the Science Center, matter of fact. Pretty weird. Are you ready for some random history? Yeah, really random. This building, which is fairly new, well, on the site, which wasn't this building, in 1848, Methodist family constructed the first church in Des Moines. That's pretty cool. They began holding Bible study in a cabin by the Raccoon River in 1845. That's pretty cool. The congregation became the first Methodist church, which is now located at 10th and Pleasant Streets. That's pretty cool, and a random history lesson. I like it that they put that on around buildings. They do it quite a bit around here, in and around downtown and in and around Des Moines. So it's a pretty cool little history lesson there. Most people won't even pay attention, but I'm always looking around for something to film. Yesterday was a non-holiday, Juneteenth. Probably should have showed this yesterday. Might have made my saying it's a non-holiday quote seem more legit. Okay, if it's come and go downtown, it's just more of a convenience store. It's not really a gas station, but it's pretty cool. But back in the 40s, this was a Cat's Drug Store, and it's on the side of their building, inside of this building. Okay, this is a site, July 7, 1948. Edna Griffith, her infant daughter, John Bibbs, and Leonard Hudson entered the store. and ordered ice cream. At the lunch counter, the manager refused to serve them, saying it is the policy of our store, we don't serve colored. So basically, this created a great big outrage, and you know, of course, civil rights and all that happened because of this. And right here it says, these events foreshadowed the modern civil rights movement. Through nonviolent protests and legal actions in court, the movement ended tolerance of open discrimination in our country and resulted in policy and laws prohibiting racial discrimination. Right there it says, pretty much on this plaque, that racism is a non-issue in America anymore. But they keep going on and on about it, that it is an issue. It's not. It's a non-issue. It's a non-issue ever since we elected a black man president. Yeah, think about that for a minute. Racism went away when we elected a black man. And that plaque, I wish every BML member and every black person could read that. Because, especially BLM. I'm not trying to single them out, but they pretty much go on about this on a continuous basis, sort of like me right now. But no, I'm just trying to prove a point. Well, today is Wednesday. What a way this is going to be to open this portion of the video. I do not like green eggs and ham. Okay, the shelter didn't have ham, but they had peaches instead. But they had green eggs, and you know what? I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I'll just, for once, I'll skip a breakfast because, quite frankly, I'm not that hungry, because last night they gave seconds, and we got seconds on hot dogs and cookies and etc. So I'm like, and chips. So I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna skip the green eggs. I'm already suffering from bleach, and I'm coughing up that gunk in and out of the building. So I'm like, I'm cool. I'm completely cool. I do not want green eggs. There may be other people that are completely desperate for food. So be it. Give it to them. I don't want it. Well, that's a heck of a way to open the video here on Wednesday, but, well, what am I doing today? Well, I'm just gonna mess around. I'll probably go to a random Walmart. You know, nothing else to really do. I don't take many buses, but every so often I do, as you've noticed on my videos. I like to do it every few days when I have a little bit of extra money to do it. So that's what's on the agenda today, is just to go to a random Walmart, and I pretty much know what I'm going to do for lunch. There is this church that only does it once a week on a Wednesday. I went there last week, and I hope it's a great repeat, because last week I got full. I remember talking about this on my video. Video I did how many days ago that was a week ago. And I got full off a tenderloin that was bigger than the bun. But that's on my agenda today. I actually know what I'm doing today. What a shock. I never know what I'm doing on these days. I'm random these days because I don't know what I'm doing. But today, literally and figuratively, I don't know what I'm doing. But today, I do know. What a shock. I'm not really big into recording inside stores, you know, like grocery stores, Walmarts, Targets. They can sometimes get a little nervous when some random asshole, you know, is filming inside of the store. So I don't tend to do that often. Rarely do I. And today is no exception to that rule. Now, my phone was a little cockeyed there. But anyway, so, but today I went to Walmart for business that I won't relate, but I went there to do something today. And so, this Walmart was almost like the reverse Walmart. It was really weird, and it was sort of combobulated trying to find stuff in this Walmart. That it was like the reverse Walmart. Like I'm used to the ones in Atumwa and other places I've seen that where the food and the electronics is. The food was in the electronics section, and the electronics section was the food. It was the most ass backwards Walmart I have ever seen in my life. It was like the reverse Walmart. That's what I'll call it, the reversal Walmart. It was quite an experience to see a reverse Walmart. This building reminds me of me. Crumbling, been through a lot, but it's still standing. Well, since the last clip, yes, I shaved. You have to adapt in life, especially when you're homeless. You have to adapt. And I shaved under a bridge. You know, people are probably going to laugh at that, but hey, you got to use what you got to use. Not the best thing to do, but hey, the only people that's going to bother me under a bridge, or anything that will bother me, is maybe a random pigeon or bird. And you know what? They are very conversationalist. You can have really good conversations with pigeons or birds. Laugh if you want. And you know, I have learned a lot. And unfortunately, I've seen a lot in the last couple weeks. I've seen stuff I may never repeat. Yeah, I've seen stuff like downtown, businessmen wearing a nice suit, dressed to the T, getting in their random car like a convertible or something like that, being on a cell phone and talking. And there's 2 or 3, maybe more, homeless people just sitting there wondering how they're going to survive and how they're going to get their next meal. And these businessmen pay no attention to them. They pay no attention to them. Quite frankly, I didn't pay much attention to the homelessness before, but I do now, and I see it all around me. I see it all around me, and I'm more open to it. And as far as these businessmen are concerned, they don't exist. Homelessness doesn't exist in their eyes. And you know, what would happen if this said businessman lost everything? Got fired, lost his car, lost his house, his wife leaves them. What happens if they lose everything? No money. They're going to be in the same situation. They're not going to know how to survive. No, they're used to steaks and caviar and whatever else. Most people don't pay attention to homelessness. They look at it more as a nuisance. A nuisance they wish would go away. That's how they look at it. Because I've noticed downtown Des Moines has 2 sections. I've noticed this. There's 2 sections. There's downtown before you go across the bridge going that way towards the Capitol. Down here, homelessness is bad. You go across the bridge and you head towards the Capitol. It doesn't exist because governors, politicians don't want that. They don't want that image. They don't want that imagery towards the Capitol and a lot of those government offices. Yeah, I know. I don't usually talk about stuff like this, but let's be honest, this is the cruel reality of it. Politicians don't want to acknowledge, including Kim Reynolds, they don't want to acknowledge that homelessness actually exists. They look at it more as a nuisance. Do they do much for the city? Not really. If they do anything for the city or even the state, it's to acquire brownie points for future voters. That's pretty much what it is. I'm sorry if I bring up some cold, harsh reality truths, but this is the fact of the matter is people don't want to acknowledge that it even exists, and there's stuff I have seen with my own freaking eyes I don't want to even talk about because it's horrific. It's downright horrific. And unless you've never been there, you would have no idea how bad it can be and some of the stuff you can see with your own eyes. Well, remember last week I went to that church, I got that great big tenderloin? Wasn't as much food, but I still got full. I had like a chicken sandwich and some fries, and they even give me some pineapple juice. I ain't had that in a long time, and that tasted fabulous. It's a little bitty small neighborhood church. Really cute though. It's called Mount Hebron Missionary Baptist Church, and it's got a great big hill here. But it's a really nice church, and it's sad and unfortunate. Not a lot of people in Des Moines knows about this church, and the only reason I do is because of that 211 app. Otherwise, I wouldn't know about this church. I think that they would feed you even if you weren't homeless. That's just me. That's just me. I remember I was sitting outside on the side charging my phone a little bit, talking to my wife, and the pastor came out and said, "Hey, it's hot out here. Just go on inside. You know, make yourself comfortable." I did, and they usually start serving at noon. They actually gave me my food way before, like about 10 minutes before, and they are extremely friendly there. They asked me if I wanted seconds or if I got enough. I'm like, yeah, I got enough, but you know, thank you, and you know, God bless. And so they're really nice. It's just too bad. You see, this is the better side of the homelessness situation coming out. Is some of these church organizations, they do a lot more for the homeless than anybody else does. And this is a Baptist church, but man, so friendly there. I wish more people knew about this church. And I think, like I said, I think they would feed you even if you weren't homeless, just to go in and get something to eat. As both times I went, this is sad. I'm the only person in there eating. I wish they could get the word out and maybe more people would come. Maybe they could make it closer to downtown or something. But who knows? Anything's possible. Maybe they'll end up growing. I'll try to put the word out for it somehow. On that way to that church, I wanted to come back this way because there's something there's something I saw I may never see again. A blue rock. Now there's something you don't see every day. A blue rock. That's pretty interesting. A blue rock. There it is in the background. A blue rock. I don't know what else to say about that. I was talking to my wife on the phone, and this is a creepy, abnormal looking scene. There lies a Coke with a dead bird. And what's the deal with the shoes? This is not normal. Is there a dead body in here somewhere? I don't know. Or several? I don't know. That's not normal. I normally don't discuss parks. Parks can be beautiful, but down here in downtown Des Moines, there's a park. It's a little bitty small park. It's not a very big park. It's really small. Trust me, it's really small. That used to be the site, Yonkers. Well, Yonkers is gone. And when I was here in 2021, they were thinking about building a park here, which they eventually just did. And it's been here for about a year now, maybe less than a year. It's called EMC Downtown Park. Just a little bitty small park. It's beautiful. I mean, it is good for the residents. There's people that live down here, so it's good for the residents, you know, to come in here and, you know, listen to some time at the park. That used to be, well, Yonkers. Yonkers is on its way out, or they're completely done. Yonkers are done. So now what used to be Yonkers is a downtown park. So that's pretty cool that they put something useful where something like Yonkers used to be. Yep, Yonkers are, well, a thing of the past. Well, today is Thursday, which yesterday was the first official day start of summer. I've been here in Des Moines for the last couple weeks, and I'm pretty certain it's felt like summer that entire time. A sight for sore eyes. Yeah, I'm here by the Iowa Historical Museum. I was going to do a top 5 countdown of my favorite parts of the museum, so it was going to be quite fun to actually do. But they have this. It's under a mess. It's like the rest of downtown Des Moines. It's under construction, and you can't view the dinosaur exhibit. I cut that out. That was going to be my top 5. And then they had the upstairs was also under construction, so you can't view the movie part, cinema part of it. Some of that was going to be in my top 5 moments of the, you know, the museum. So I couldn't view half of the museum, so that pretty much cut that out. That's what I had planned. I had thought about it last night, what I was going to do. For some reason, they have this museum under a lot of construction. Maybe they're going to add stuff. I don't know. I'll never know unless I'm really here a long time. But I don't plan on it. So that's what my plan was going to be. So I have to scratch that because that was free. So I'm not out any money whatsoever. I have viewed the museum a couple times before. I wasn't going to do the entire museum, just my top 5 favorite exhibits of the museum. So that pretty much cut that out. That's what I was going to do for fun today, but I trying to find my way around there. It's an absolute mess. It is a mess, literally and figuratively. So, well, won't be doing that. Right close to there, this is like going across the street. See, Iowa Historical Museum. So disappointed about that, but okay, anyway. Sorry we're closed, but still awesome. I like that. That's pretty funny. Let's take a look at some more signs and business and books. What is this place? I do not know. Too much social media is bad for mental health. I agree. Don't adapt to the energy in the room. Influencing energy in the room. Mental health isn't being happy every day. That's bullshit. Don't believe everything you think. That's quite interesting. Sex is as sex does. Okay. That is quite interesting. The amount of books they have. Anyway, good program. Do the best you can. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. I like it. Moving on from that. The desperate pain I felt was denying my own feelings to make everyone else comfortable. Oh, it's a mindful mental health counseling. Oh, okay. I got it. I got what the place is. Okay. So now it makes sense what that place is. What does sex book have to do with mental health? Good question. And this bike shop, bike store, random signs. Is that what I'm going for today? I don't know. I'm just being random. Politics are temporary. Wu-Tang is forever. But I really like this one. I like to set the world on fire, but where would I sit to watch it burn? That sounds something like the Joker would say, doesn't it? It really does, but I really like that. That's quite interesting. It's going on 11:30, and today has been one of my lucky days. Yesterday I had that lunch church I told you about, so I got relatively full there. And then last night at the shelter they had seconds, and there was like meatloaf and mashed potatoes and bread, buttered bread. So I was full, and I got seconds last night, and I really haven't been overly hungry today, which is surprising when you burn off energy when you're outside for all these hours. So I haven't been overly hungry today, but I am going to get some lunch, here in about a half an hour. I do this church over here. I showed the water thing they had one day, and it's called St. John Lutheran Church. They just do a sack lunch. So they usually like turkey, ham, chicken. They'll give you like chips and cookies and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. I just do it because it's so simple, and it's so I'm usually downtown a lot anyway. But anyway, this is just me, but I have more respect for Adam the Woo, who did his outdoor videos every day. Granted, he was in different locations, but try doing it in the same location every day. It'd be a little tiresome. Des Moines does have a lot, if you can afford the bus. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I can. It just depends on the day, depends on the situation. And it seems like to me my outdoor videos have taken a dip in the creativity and the quality. That's just me. Since the Pride Parade one I did, the quality of my outdoor videos hasn't been the best. I apologize for that. That's just me. I'm very critical of my outdoor videos. I'm very, very critical of it. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I have spent every day outside for hours on end, and it's hard to keep getting creative and trying to find stuff to film. It is very, very difficult and trying. So I apologize if the quality of my videos has been lacking since the first one, because quite frankly, this is sad. I love the outdoors, but quite frankly, I'm getting bored with the outdoors. That is sad. That is really, really, really sad. I have no idea what's going on here. What's going on? Okay. Should I go join them? No, I'm going to go for lunch. What is going on? Never know what you're going to see. Right in the background. What's going on? They already had the Pride Parade. I really love it that Hy-Vee has the cheapest water around. $1. Can't beat that. And it's just regular spring water. And I get it a lot. Because you go to the gas station, it's like a couple of bucks. But anyway, Dispensary and Fong's Pizza. Dispensary and Fong's Pizza. if I had a choice, which would I want to do? Eat Fong's pizza or smoke some weed? I'm gonna go with the weed. Am I the only one on the face of the planet that gets nervous when they see a plane flying over, especially in bigger cities? You won't see it in smaller towns. Smaller towns don't have big buildings. Anyway, am I the only one that gets nervous when they see a plane flying overhead, especially when you have these tall ass buildings here in Des Moines? So, am I the only one that gets nervous and starts thinking about 9/11? Are they going to crash into one of these tall buildings? Am I the only one that gets nervous about that? Clearly, I can't be the only one that gets nervous about it. Well, I'll upload this video tonight, and because of one thing I did on here, I'm going to call this Still Standing Tall in Des Moines. Like a good name. Oh, also, that'll be tonight, of course, time you see this. This will be towards the end of my video. I don't do that all for now because I don't know when I'm going to close the video. But you know what? This is one time I actually do know. But I'm going to close it out on some, well, landmark buildings and something that's a little unseemly. On the other side of downtown Des Moines, you get some newer buildings, and then you get some adult stuff. Across the street is, well, it's called Playground, and it's called Lover's Playground, and it's, adult video store where you buy adult stuff. Have I been in there? Lips are sealed, throwing away the key. And you see across the street, these are newer buildings. But across the street where I'm standing is stuff that's older buildings that are still here, that are still standing. And I noticed this one caught my eye because I remember from LA Noir, on one of the landmarks you had to discover was the National Biscuit Company, 1906. And that's this here building here. And what was that? That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. I thought it was something made up out of a video game. Did they take it from Des Moines? I don't think so. I think it was something that actually did exist at one time. And then you have this old building, which is still standing. Hey, pretty tall building too, especially for the time frame. Especially for the time frame. As up here, Hearing Motor Car Company, 1912. And then I have like a fence here because there's apartments up there on the other side of what I'm going to show you. And there's another, fairly tall building for its time frame, and it's called Standard Glass and Paint Company, 1913. So as you can see, some of the old buildings are still standing, even though you look in the background and you see some newer buildings. But some of the older buildings are still standing. You know what the sad part is? In another 40 or 50 years, maybe even less, these buildings won't be standing anymore. They'll be demolished and replaced with newer buildings. That is what always happens, and probably always will happen. But as of right now, these buildings are like me, still standing, even though they've been through an awful lot. You know what? That's all, folks.